just finished up the last couple calls for the week in my leadership development group. And one of the topics that came up today was around accountability. So I wanted to touch on it here in the video. Accountability is obviously a buzzword in leadership. People have been talking about that for years. I think what's important about accountability is that oftentimes leaders are holding their teams and their direct reports to standards and expectations that they're not holding themselves to. In other words, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. The reason why this is important is because the minute your people see that, they're going to label you as inauthentic, you're going to lose credibility, and you're going to lose the ability to really influence them on the level that you need in order to lead a high-performing team. And so it is imperative for leaders to hold themselves to standards and expectations that are in some way on the level of the standards and expectations that they're holding their people to. This doesn't mean that you have to lead by example in terms of doing the work. You don't need to get down in the weeds and in the nitty-gritty and do the work with them or show them that you're not asking them to do anything that you wouldn't do. That's not what this is about. But you need to carry yourself with a presence and with a level of congruence where when you're asking them to be accountable, when you're holding them to certain standards, they can look at you and say, this person holds themselves to really high standards, whether that's your physical health and fitness and your appearance, whether that's your work ethic, or a number of other things. You have to demonstrate that you hold yourself to high standards and high expectations in order for your call for them to do the same will translate. Speaking of accountability, one of the things I hold myself accountable to is working out 6 days a week. So let's go in and get this workout done. I hold myself accountable to working out 6 days a week for two main reasons. Number one is because I highly value my health and fitness. I want to look as good as possible, feel as good as possible for as long as possible. I want to be active, healthy, and thriving into my 80s and 90s and maybe even reach the age of 100. The second reason is because it gives me an opportunity to prove to myself on a daily basis that I am who I say that I am. I say that I'm a disciplined, committed, accountable person, and every day that I come to the gym, I prove that to myself. So when I say that I'm disciplined, committed, and accountable, I know it's not bullshit. I know that it's true because I prove it to myself on a daily basis. So that's really become a part of my identity. It's not really even discipline that gets me to the gym every day. It's not hard to do. A lot of days I don't want to do it, but it's just a part of who I am. I know that I am the type of person that comes to the gym every day. So it's easy work to get it done. This is where I think a lot of leaders get it wrong. The essence of leadership is in leading from who you are, not who you think others want you to be or who you think you should be or some avatar of what you think a great leader is. When you are consistently leading from who you are at your core, you're leading from essence. And when you lead from essence, you become the type of leader that your people say is real, genuine, or authentic. The quickest way to ensure that you're leading from essence is to make sure that your actions and your behaviors are congruent with who you say you are. In other words, what's stated must be demonstrated in order for your people to believe you. One of the things I identify as is a coffee drinker. So let's go get a coffee at my favorite spot here at the Village, and I'll hold myself accountable to that identity. All right, it's been a great day. I'm going to head home, but I want to make one last final point. Ultimately, when it comes to leadership and just life in general, it's not going to be accountability or discipline or dedication or commitment that's going to separate good or great. It's identity. And the reason is because identity cuts straight to who you are. When you're the type of person that just does X, you don't have to try to do X. It just comes naturally to you because it's who you are. I talked about that earlier. I don't ever have to try to go to the gym or work up the motivation to go to the gym. I just go. It's like brushing my teeth. I do it every day. It's a part of who I am, and because I want to live up to my identity, I want to be congruent with who I say I am, I just do it. So for leaders, the reason why this is so important is because when you hold your people to those high standards and those high expectations, they're going to look to see if you're modeling that or if you're living up to those yourself. So it's important for you to live up to those high expectations and those standards that you set for others. They want to see that you're congruent. They want to see that you are who you say you are. Hope this video resonated with you. If it did, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.